Alien students came from across the galaxy to attend the renowned Galactic Institute of Adaptive Sciences. It was a place where species from hundreds of worlds shared knowledge, culture, and technological advancement. But the most infamous part of the curriculum, feared, whispered about, and often protested, was a forest survival test. A 6-day exercise that dropped students into the wilds of Arbora 7, a temperate, predator-filled world untouched by automation or AI. No tools, no weapons, no tech. It was meant to teach adaptability. This year, a new species had enrolled. One human, first of their kind at the Institute. The administration had debated whether it was wise to allow a Deathworlder in a controlled test. But in the name of inclusion, and because Earth had just joined the Galactic Alliance, the decision passed. That's how Cadet Miles Harrow ended up standing at the edge of the drop zone with 13 alien students, each nervously twitching their appendages. Don't eat the red frond fruit. An instructor called out from the safety of the transport ship. Daylight lasts 12 hours. There are territorial quadrupeds. Avoid them. Your mission is simple. Survive and find high ground. We'll extract in 6 days. Then, without ceremony, they were dropped, teleported one by one to scattered parts of the vast Arbora 7 forest. 6 hours later, a nervous group of 5 alien students stumbled through the underbrush, antennae flicking and mandibles clacking. They had already lost communication with the others. A Tharnian named Quoll had been dragged screaming into the trees by something they didn't see. The foliage was thick. The temperature dropped unnaturally fast. Every sound felt amplified. We must find shelter, hissed Rek, a reptilian Yithri, trying to mask his trembling tail. There's no rock formation nearby, croaked Mwesich, a frog like a Nari. No caves. We're exposed. Then they saw light through the trees. Not the sun, an artificial glow. Warm, controlled. The group crept forward. Their frayed nerves braced for a predator's den. What they saw instead stopped them cold. A treehouse, roughly 10 meters off the ground, nestled in the thick limbs of a broadleaf arboreal giant. Ropes hung down. Bark had been peeled and fashioned into support planks. The structure wasn't primitive. It was stable, multi-leveled. They saw smoke curling from a small chimney. Fire, contained, cooked smell. And sitting on the edge of the balcony, legs dangling and chewing on a roasted creature, was a human. Hey! Miles waved like it was a backyard barbecue. Glad you guys found me. You want dinner? Asterisk, you built this? Asterisk, gasped MYSH. His gill sacks flared in disbelief. In 6 hours, muttered Rek. Yeah, time flies when you're not being hunted. Miles shrugged, tossing a bone over his shoulder. The animals are more bark than bite once you know how to read their behavior. Got lucky. Found a cluster of tool-grade vines and some sap that hardens like glue. Glue? Asked Vesh, a crystalline Selderii. Miles stood and motioned to a hardened glob on a plank. This turns rock solid once exposed to oxygen. Makes a great bonding agent. Humans used to do stuff like this for fun. You know, it's called camping. Well, a bit more intense than that. The aliens exchanged glances. The structure, the warmth, the food. This wasn't survival. This was comfort. By Galactic Institute standards, the human had passed the 6-day test in 6 hours. Word spread, not through radios, those were banned, but through natural alien communication networks. The treelings of the run communicated via pheromone bursts, and one of them had picked up a scent trail. A winged Kalari flew overhead and saw the glow. One by one, the scattered groups converged on the human treehouse, battered, half-starved, and paranoid. By nightfall, 12 survivors huddled beneath miles of structure. 2 stunned to climb. He lowered a rope ladder. You're gonna get cold down there. Come up if you want. It's not that sturdy for everyone at once, but we can rotate sleeping shifts. Vesh hesitated. Why are you helping us? Miles blinked. Because you're gonna die if I don't? That's it. Rek demanded. Miles stared. What other reason would there be? The silence that followed was profound. Among most advanced species, assistance was strategic. About favors, exchange, or survival odds. Altruism was rare. Rek grumbled as he climbed the ladder. Fine, but if this collapses, I'm blaming your soft monkey engineering. By morning, the aliens were transformed. The Kalari used its heat-resistant wings to fashion windshields. The Inari secreted a mucus that sealed floor gaps. The run integrated plant growth to form living walls. Under the guidance of Miles, they didn't just survive, they thrived. But not everyone was pleased. 2 days later, at the observation station orbiting Arbora 7, the test administrators watched the footage with disbelief. Director Veltarn, a rigid Suthri, pointed at the massive structure now towering above the forest canopy. What is that? That's not survival. That's cooperation, said another staffer. It's cheating. They were supposed to struggle. They were supposed to adapt. That's exactly what they've done. Veltarn narrowed his 3 eyes. The human has disrupted the baseline. Perhaps, the staffer said carefully, we need a new baseline. Back on the ground, Miles was teaching the run how to fish using handmade spears. The group had created a pulley system to raise water. Smoke signals and reflective bark had been tied to the treetops in case of a retrieval scan. For fun, someone painted a crude welcome sign, asterisk the nest. Asterisk, then something shook the forest. Footsteps, giant ones, predator class. The canopy shuddered as a 12-meter quadruped with scale armor plates crashed through the trees. Its nostrils flared. Yellow eyes locked on the base of the tree. Alien screamed. MYSH leapt into water. Vesh froze. Rek shouted. It followed your scent. This is your fault, human. But Miles didn't panic. He lit a torch. Cover your eyes, he barked. Then he hurled the torch into a cache of sap Miles had poured earlier into a dugout trench. The explosion wasn't massive, just loud and fiery, but it startled the predator, sending it backward, singed and howling. The aliens gawked. Not only had Miles survived a predator attack, he had planned for it. You booby-trapped the base? Rek whispered. Predators rely on patterns. You don't wait for them. You redirect them. They stared at him. He shrugged again. Earth got worse. You ever go camping near an Australian saltwater croc nest? That's real stress. By day 5, the treehouse had expanded into a canopy village. Platforms, hammocks, irrigation. Miles even organized a mock school where each species taught the other something from their homeworld. Nutrient crafting, weather prediction, echo mapping. When the retrieval ship came, it hovered for a long time. Then a voice boomed. Cadets, the 4 survival test is now complete. Please prepare for extraction. Nobody moved. We're not in danger anymore, muttered Vesh. Why leave? Miles chuckled. Well, they'll force us eventually. But even the staff couldn't hide their astonishment when the extraction crew found not just survivors, but a working ecosystem, a multi-species village, co-governed, resource-efficient, and well-defended, all built in 5 days. The final report would note that for the first time in its 100-year history, the 4 survival test had to be reevaluated, because one human had redefined survival, not as endurance, but as creation. And somewhere in the report, perhaps written in smaller text, was a quote from Cadet Harrow. You threw me into the woods and told me to survive. I did better. I built a home. Next time, maybe bring marshmallows.